the heart, and it's the hand. One more time, the heart, and then the hand. Ken and I come from a suburb of Denver called Aurora. And Aurora had national news this past summer on July 20th for the release, the midnight release of The Dark Knight Rises. And I come from a close-knit group of nerds back in Denver. My really good friend has a comic book company called Hush Comics. And he named his comic book company Hush because Hush is his favorite Batman villain. And we always go to the midnight movie of any superhero movie when it comes out. So when the Avengers came out, we all went. I wore my Iron Man mask that actually had like batteries and like lit up and stuff. And so like I kept pushing. It was like repulsor beam, you know what I mean? Like saying all like this crazy stuff. And people were telling me to turn your mask down. You know what I mean? Like, it was very ironic. I felt like, you know, I was like, oh, I need to turn my mask down. It's true. I'm disturbing the film. So Dark Knight Rises was coming out, and my buddy Sharif, it was his turn to buy tickets for 9 of us to go and watch this movie. And we were going to go to the Century 16 Theater because his sister worked a couple blocks away and she was getting off kind of late, and we were just going to go right there. And so he goes on Fandango to buy the tickets for the movie, and Fandango didn't take his credit card. And he got kind of frustrated that his time was getting a little bit later, so we went over to Movie Phone, and by the time we went to Movie Phone, the theater was sold out. So we bought tickets for another theater, a couple miles down the road. And so we all got together and met at this other theater off of Parker Road and saw the movie together. Well, as we're in the theater, we start to get text messages about a shooting and tweets about a shooting in our theater. And we kind of didn't pay it any mind. We kind of felt like, you know what, that's Aurora. Aurora kind of has those kind of things happen sometimes. It's like, you know, it's kind of the hood, you know, right outside of Denver, so, you know, it couldn't be that bad until we walked outside of the theater. And there were Denver PD officers with those bomb-sniffing dogs, those canines, walking around the building, and we understood how serious it was. And we found out later that the man who perpetuated this horrific act, I still won't say his name, I haven't said his name to this day, that he said that it wasn't over yet. And we know this wasn't over because he had booby-trapped his home. And so we're outside in the parking lot, and my friend Sharif turns to me and he says, you know what, our town, Aurora needs a Batman. And I looked him dead in the eye and I agreed with him. I was like, you know what, you're right. You know, what other time, you know, could we possibly need a hero except for now? And I sat on it for a couple of days, and then we started to hear about what actually happened in that theater, and we found out that ordinary strangers put their lives on the line to save other people that didn't know each other at all. And I thought to myself, you know what, Aurora doesn't need a Batman. We have Batmen, we have Batwomen, we have heroes, everyday heroes that would risk everything for a stranger. So I wrote this piece for our town, Aurora, Colorado. Can I get 2 beats of the heart and 2 claps? One more time. Can I get 2 beats? Aurora doesn't need a Batman, candlelight visual, or ribbon for a cause. She is bilingual and bipolar. On one side of town, she is SUVs, 3-car garages, manicured lawns, aspens in the front yard. On the other side of town, she is 1-hour motel rooms that moonlight as meth labs, abandoned paradise, nuclear test site suburb, mannequins waving to their neighbors, waiting for the big one, trailer parks, no Whole Foods. The white kids call each other nigger. The black kids dress like Wiz Khalifa, skinny jeans, skateboard, and tattoo themselves because they have nothing else better to do with their time. For rent signs on duplexes that look like large coffins. Aurora doesn't need you, Katie Couric. Long after your cameras stop rolling, we will still be here. My high school in your background. Yellow tape around the block of my second apartment. We are more than just another town plagued by terrorism, school bullying, video games, and gangster rap. We are Aurora. East Colfax. Meximarts. Selling oranges by the highway. Aztec murals in our playgrounds, Christmas lights up all year long. We hustle stolen bus transfers and ride the 15 back downtown and back to Centerpoint. What I'm trying to tell you is that Aurora doesn't need a Batman. On our darkest nights, ordinary heroes rose from the black and blood of the Century 16 theater. I wonder if I would have the courage of a Terrell Brooks. At 19, he took a bullet meant for a mother and her 2 small children, extended his arms as wide as DC comic pages. No Cape Crusader mass warrior, but a Broncos fitted cap tilted to the side. Ordinary hero Bob Kane couldn't have imagined Alexander Teves. Dove into a shower of bullets to save his girlfriend Amanda. Bang! Stay down. Bang! Stay down. John Larimer covered his girlfriend Julia like a black cape, no utility belt. Bang! Stay down. Bang! Not 1. Bang! Not 2. Bang! Not 3. 4 boyfriends came in between bullets and their girlfriends. I wonder if I'd have been that in love. To not think of a tomorrow for myself. Aurora doesn't need a Batman. She doesn't need your spotlight. Tell Geraldo to get the fuck off my lawn. She doesn't need your prayers. She prays for you. She prays for you every time you forget the last time something like this happened, when the We Remember status updates are pushed down behind the social media sites and the black ribbon t-shirts are donated to the Goodwill on Fridays. Aurora doesn't need your apology, Christian Bale. Bruce Wayne doesn't live here. His mansion is on the other side of town. We will forever live in the shadow of Gotham, somewhere between running to stay alive or staying to save another, or maybe it's because we have nowhere else left to go. Aurora doesn't need a Batman. Bang! What would you do? Aurora doesn't need your 60 seconds of sympathy. Bang! What would you do? Aurora doesn't need your gun control speeches. Bang! What would you do? We are Aurora, the last great city before the plains. Sons and daughters of the Rockies, we look to her for our sunrise. Google us, and the word shootings is the first in our results, but we are more than that. Aurora means the dawn. Aurora means the sun rising. Aurora, at some point, we all want to leave, but we end up staying. Maybe it's because we are all unfinished sketches, and when we're close together, we look like comic book panels. Or maybe it's because we are in love, too stubborn to listen to our hearts telling us to leave. Or maybe it's because all that we have is each other, and we would give anything to see another dawn again. Aurora doesn't need a Batman. What we need is each other.